This video is brought to you by Sporlan, quality, integrity, and tradition. I want to start this off really quick to announce that we just got new beanies in stock. We've been out of stock for a long time. We kind of changed the design a little bit and we went to non-cuffed only beanies. So they are available on my website, HVACRvideos.com. If you're interested, go check it out. Let's get on with this video. This is an office AC, office/restrooms, back of the kitchen. And they're saying that it's not working. But I get here this morning. They called me last night. They asked me to come out this morning. I come out this morning, it's running and it's nice and cool. We're rejecting heat, quite a bit of heat. Seems like it has a dirty condenser. It's rejecting so much heat because it's not that hot outside yet. Condenser itself doesn't look too bad, but this is a double road condenser. You do have to split it. And if you come over here, pretty dirty in here, in this section. But another thing that's peculiar is they said that the thermostat was blank. And it's not blank today. It's obviously on and the unit's running. So I'm starting to wonder if we have a bad thermostat maybe. But let's get into this. Let's open this guy up, have a look, check the filters, the belt, and then we need to clean that condenser too, definitely. I am fully probed up on this. We're measuring outside air right here, return and supply, high pressure, low pressure, discharge, liquid and suction line. And this is what we're looking at. This is a 5-ton package unit with a fixed orifice metering device. Superheat, that looks pretty good to me. We're calling for 5 degrees. We're right at 5 degrees superheat. But look at our head pressure. We're above the target for a 93-degree ambient. We're way above the target. And that's likely going to be because of the dirt on this condenser. That in theory can cause this guy to go off on high pressure and maybe lock itself out. But if it was locked out via the compressor lockout board, you'd have to cycle power to turn it back on. So I don't know if it necessarily went off on high pressure. I just think maybe it struggled and or we could have a bad thermostat. You know, that's what I'm torn on because they said it was blank and it's not blank today. I guess no, because if it went off on high pressure lockout, it wouldn't have made the thermostat go blank. Because yeah, it just would have shut off the compressor and the thermostat would have had a display. So there's also, looks like a burnt terminal connector right there, but it's not, it looks like it just got hot. It's not burnt at the electrical connector, so that's interesting. Let's start by cleaning this condenser. Temp split looks good, airflow looks good. I mean, this guy seems like it's kicking butt, but look at that approach temperature. That is extremely high. Outdoor ambient versus liquid line surface temperature is approach, and that's way too high. But it looks like the charge is okay, but we'll find out once we get this guy cleaned up. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down, and we're gonna go through all operations on this guy. I went ahead and pulled the top off the unit. Evaporator looks pretty clean down in there, decent looking filters. We do have a suction line filter dryer. I don't think it was plugged up because I was getting the temperature across it through here. We will check a pressure drop across it. I pulled that off. So if you look at this guy, this is a double road condenser. Notice how there's a second row that is hard to see. And it's pretty dirty down in there. And then you come over here and it's like a blanket over here. And then doesn't help that some idiot put the ice machine condenser blowing into this. So that adds to it too. They had a couple years back, they had another company put these here and they did not think when they have it blowing directly at the AC, and I could feel the air right here. So that's stupid. I will get some cleaner on this, but first we're gonna get the surface stuff off here. And then once we get all that off, then we will get some cleaner on there. We'll split it, get it all wet through. You want to try to get all the surface stuff. And then another thing, this is just my logic. I don't know if it rings true, but I like having the coil wet when you put the coil cleaner on there, so that way it's nice and lubricated and the coil cleaner runs all the way through and actually does something. I don't need my foam gun for something this small. It's not like plugged or anything. I already got most of it off. This is just a preventative thing. So I took a little bit of the Viper Venom Pack. It's the brightener cleaner, put it in the pump sprayer, put water in it first so that way it doesn't foam up like crazy when you're trying to fill it. Because if you put the chemical in first and then you put water, it just foams like crazy. So I am not always perfect, but try to wear gloves when you're using this stuff. I'm talking to myself just as much as I'm talking to you. So we're gonna get this all sprayed on, let it sit on there, let it push through, and then we'll give it a good rinse here in a few minutes. All right, it's been sitting for about a minute, so we're gonna go ahead and start rinsing and get it as clean as possible. It's probably gonna come through pretty nasty. It's not too bad. I think it was more surface than anything. Oh yeah, it's coming through though. Coming through pretty dirty actually. I'll get it all rinsed off nice and good, and then we'll get this guy back together, and hopefully this solves our problem. I'll go ahead and rinse those condensers since I'm right here too. These things are insane. I'm not even using cleaner because I don't have any more. I used all my cleaner on that AC, but look at what's coming out. It's just pure mud. The other one was pretty ridiculous too. Crazy. So it has been, we did a rooftop maintenance here 3 months ago, but this restaurant really requires it every 30 days, but they're only doing quarterly. Well, I think they're doing quarterly. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see what they do. But they told us they were doing quarterly. But yeah, summertime, they need it sometimes more than once a month because we get this nastiness. We're in Southern California. It's kind of a desert climate. Now, a lot of people think I live and work in the Coachella Valley when I don't. I used to have some customers out there. I still have one customer out in the Coachella Valley. That's the low desert. That's where I would make the videos with all the sand and stuff. But I'm not really doing that customer that would have all the sand problems very much anymore. So this is just, we're about 40 miles south of Los Angeles where I'm at now in the Inland Empire. So it just needs good love. You know, we got lots of wind and dirt and whatever just blowing around. So kind of crazy. So that'll help a little bit too because it won't be as hot coming out of that condenser. It's still not ideal that it's blowing on that AC, but you know, it is what it is. About to put the top back on, but before I do, the condenser's just trash. Look at, I just touch it and they need to change the condenser on this. We put an evaporator in this probably about 2-3 years ago. So the evaporator's in great shape. Belt's nice and snug, we're good on that. I did rinse out the drain pan. It wasn't dirty, but since I have the top off, you might as well. So yeah, we're ready to put the top on and start it back up. All right, this unit has actuator metering devices. It has a liquid line header with a bunch of little orifices inside of it. So it's a fixed orifice metering device. On startup, it takes a little while for the coil to load up and everything to stabilize, so you got to give it some time. Initially, it started up at a like 27-degree saturation, and then it slowly builds, so you got to give it some time. The next thing is always pay attention after you clean a condenser, because the coil, when it's wet, can throw off your readings. So you want to make sure your liquid line temperature is always higher than your air temperature. Okay, it's still drying out, but it's getting better and better. So again, just give it some time. I could feel a serious amount of air moving. Well, not so much here because this is flattened, but right here for sure we can feel a lot of air. They really need to look into either letting me change this condenser. I would change this condenser, put an OEM condenser fan motor and fan blade on that, because that one's sitting down a little bit lower than it should. The unit already has a new evaporator with new metering devices, new compressor. Yeah, I would suggest they let me do that, but again, you know, who knows. And then they should let me take that and move it. Really, we should move it. I'd say, I don't know if I want to move it to the other side or if I'd stack them, but they got to do something, because you can't keep blowing on this thing. That's just ridiculous. Or a baffle or something, who knows. While I was waiting for the system to stabilize, I went around and rinsed off all the other condensers. Let's see, just giving them a quick rinse. None of them were as dirty as this one. This one's still like, the condenser is just trash. smashed, man. I can still see like permanent crap in there. These things suck. All right, so now it looks like it's somewhat stable. Saturation temperatures are within reason. 43 degree evaporator, 122 degree condenser. Superheat's about 7 degrees. They're calling for about 5 degrees, so that's not bad. Subcooling, I'm not too concerned about that. We're also using discharge pressure, so that would drop a little bit. Liquid line temperature's fine. Approach, it's a lot better than it was. Temperature split is high. I don't doubt we have some ductwork problems, and airflow is a little bit low. I also am curious about the return, because what I think was the return looked really dirty. So let's head down there and see if we can clean that up and see if that'll improve anything on this. Other than that though, I mean, we're delivering what the unit's expected to deliver. 56,000 BTUs, we're delivering 55. It's looking amazing, but we're gonna go downstairs and see if that return's plugged up. Look at these returns. So I'm gonna get these cleaned up real quick, get some air moving through here. They're gonna have to get up here and detail this, but I got the bulk of the stuff out of both of them, so that way it can actually breathe. That's all the stuff that I pulled off of the surface. Now I can actually feel air moving through the grills, so that's gonna make a huge improvement. All right, I went ahead and talked to the customer, and they are adamant that the thermostat was blank yesterday, and they did not come up here. So I went ahead and replaced the thermostat at their request, and went ahead and repaired the burnt wires. These ones over here actually weren't burnt. Those terminals are just black, like the little connectors, so they look burnt. But oh, looks like I forgot that one right there. That's the other burnt one, so I'll have to replace that. But that's it. I'm waiting for the unit to turn back on from the thermostat. We'll let it stabilize. We'll get that other one changed out, and then that's all we can do about this until they make decisions on what they want to do. Started back up. Looking good so far. It's still kind of bringing the saturation temperature down a little bit, or up a little bit, but airflow looks better. Temp split's still high. That's still funky, but that's a ductwork problem. And it's still kind of stabilizing. One thing that's pretty cool, MeasureQuick has the grid mode now, so you can see everything on one screen. And if I've never tried it, but let's see, screenshots are supposed to be back. Boom, got a screenshot now.
You know, a lot of the service calls that I get are because of lack of maintenance, and it is what it is. You know, the equipment that we work on is going to get dirty. I mean, while at times you can get a little frustrated because, you know, you have to bend over backwards and rush out to a service call, the way I keep trying to remind myself when I do get frustrated is they could be calling someone else. I mean, it's as simple as that. If it really is that frustrating, you know, let them call someone else. I'm, for myself, even though I get frustrated at times, I'm thankful that they're calling me back. I'm thankful that I'm the person that they call. Yeah, they're not doing maintenance, but they're calling me when it breaks. So, hey, I'll take what I can get when I can get it. And I'm thankful for that. You know, it's really easy to get caught up in your own head, especially when you're around other negative people that, you know, vent frustrations and different things. And there's nothing wrong with being frustrated, but don't let it get to you. Remember, at least the way that I try to remind myself is I'm thankful for my customers. I'm thankful that they want to call me to fix it. Obviously, I have to charge appropriately so that way I can make money, feed my family, that kind of stuff. But, you know, they could very easily call someone else. And for that, I'm thankful that they choose to call me. Okay. So, you know, this one was a dirty condenser, right? But you can see that I still look at the big picture as much as possible. And, you know, when I say big picture, it's within reason, right? Within the customer's budget, within your time frame, you know, with the available time that you have to work on that equipment, I'm going to do the best of my ability to fix it and give the customer all the information so that way they can make informed decisions on what they need to do with their equipment, okay? So we went through the unit. We found it had a dirty condenser. I went ahead and pulled the top off of it, cleaned the condenser properly, split the condenser coil, went through all operations, found for the most part everything else was working as best as it could be, right? Corrected a few little things, and we got the system back up and running, and the customer was happy. Now, in the situation of the video too, I was a little reluctant to think that there was a problem with the thermostat, but the fact that the customer was so adamant that the thermostat had gone blank, there's really nothing in the unit. Even if it went off on a lockout, compressor lockout, the thermostat would still have a display. So in this situation, the customer was adamant that the thermostat was blank. So at their request, I went ahead and changed out the thermostat too. And, the system's back up and running. Now, this is an old package unit from 2004, I think. I'm not going to force a customer to replace the equipment. If they don't want to replace it, then so be it. We'll go ahead and repair it, and we'll continue to repair it. R22, we'll keep using R22. 410A, we'll keep using 410A until we can't, right? So we just do the best that we can with the tools that we have. And remember, even if it seems like the easiest call, you still want to take your time. Make sure you do it right. It's very easy to get caught up and forget to do something, skip a very important step. I'm not perfect in no way, but I try my best, okay? If you haven't already, please consider checking out my website, hvacrvideos.com. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, we have beanies available on the website now. A little bit of a design change on these, and we went to cuffed-only beanies. We're trying to streamline the merchandise that we have on the website because there's a lot of stuff. You can see some shirts. Actually, the shirt pile's getting diminishing. We have a huge stockpile in the garage, too. We're trying to liquidate most of that stuff. Well, actually, the shirts are still doing fine, but the sweatshirts, those are going. So sweatshirts are heavily discounted right now. I think they're $25 if I remember right. Don't quote me on that, but basically we dropped the price to where we're not even breaking even on them just because I'm trying to clear inventory. The sweatshirts are great. They're really high quality, very, very nice, but they just don't sell, so we're just kind of clearing them out. So if you're interested in a nice, warm, zip-up hoodie, check out the website, hvacrvideos.com. What's available is available. We don't have a lot left in stock, but again, we're just kind of clearing those out. The beanies, the hats, the stickers, those are the number one thing that we push through the website, so those are the things we're going to keep pushing through. So again, if you're interested, check it out. Again, hvacrvideos.com. So that's a great way to support the channel if you're interested in doing so. The easiest way to support this channel is literally just watch the videos from beginning to end. That really is the easiest way. You can also support the channel via PayPal, Patreon, or YouTube channel memberships. There's links in the show notes of this video on how to do those. And last but not least, you see any of the tools that I'm using in this video, the Fieldpiece Job Link probes, go check out TrueTechTools.com. I get a good majority of my tools from them. If you go to their website, you like what they have, you like their pricing, I actually have an affiliate code set up with them that'll get you an 8% discount on majority of the items on their website, and then I get a small commission of that sale. Doesn't cost you guys anything extra. TrueTech Tools has always got great selection, and they have great customer service. I use them for a good majority of my tool purchases. So again, check them out, TrueTechTools.com. Use the offer code BIGPICTURE, one word. I really appreciate you making it to the end. Thank you so very much, and we will catch you on the next one.